Welcome to our show, Hong Kong Brief. Today, we have a lineup of fascinating stories that are sure to capture your interest. First up, a Singapore-based fintech startup, Surf and Meta, is making waves by using AI to provide financial services to underbanked populations in developing markets. With over 50 million registered users and impressive revenue figures, this company is on a mission to become a digital banking powerhouse in the region. Next, we dive into the ambitious plans of the Chinese government to create a greater Shanghai metropolitan area. This initiative aims to link Shanghai with 13 other cities in the Yangtze River Delta, enhancing transport links and boosting economic growth across a massive area. But is this vision achievable, or is it a bridge too far? Finally, we'll discuss Hong Kong's new Smile campaign aimed at attracting tourists. While the initiative is well-intentioned, critics argue that the government should focus on resolving deeper issues like rising living costs and mental health problems to bring genuine positivity to its citizens. Please stay tuned for the detailed coverage of these stories and more. South China Morning Post. Surf and Meta, a fintech startup based in Singapore, is leveraging AI to provide financial services to the underbanked population in emerging markets. Founded by Yanan Wu, the company targets young individuals who have never had financial access before, offering services such as lending, credit cards, and wealth management. Surf and Meta has amassed over 50 million registered users across 9 markets, including Indonesia, the Philippines, India, and Mexico. The firm uses AI to create initial credit scores based on users' internet activities, which helps them begin their financial journey. Since its launch in 2017, Surfin has seen rapid growth, with accumulated transaction volumes surpassing $2.5 billion and consistent profitability since 2021. The company recently raised $10 million in debt capital and aims to secure an additional $20 million this year. Wu envisions Surfin becoming a regional digital banking powerhouse, focusing on inclusivity and sustainability through AI-driven customer interactions. South China Morning Post. A master plan is being crafted to link the affluent and innovative cities in China's Yangtze River Delta, YRD, into a greater Shanghai metropolitan area. This ambitious blueprint aims to integrate Shanghai with 13 nearby cities, enhancing resource mobility and economic stability. The plan, if realized, could significantly reduce commute times between these cities and foster interconnected infrastructure and industrial development. The proposed area covers about 114,000 square kilometers and has a combined population of 110 million, contributing over 18 trillion yuan in annual economic output. Monthly meetings among officials from these cities have been held to align local planning and policies. However, challenges such as planning fragmentation and differing priorities among cities need to be addressed. The plan draws inspiration from the Greater Bay Area Development Zone and aims to elevate Shanghai's status as a global economic hub, competing with cities like Tokyo, New York, and London. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's government has launched a Smile campaign aimed at boosting tourism by encouraging service sector workers to showcase hospitality with a smile. However, the initiative has been met with skepticism, as many Hong Kongers struggle with underlying issues such as economic instability and mental health challenges. Last year's Happy Hong Kong campaign, designed to stimulate post-pandemic recovery, has not fully succeeded in bringing back normalcy. A recent survey revealed that the average Hong Konger faces a significant gap between expected post-retirement expenses and available pension funds, leading to increased stress and the need to work beyond retirement age. Rising living costs and a declining birth rate further exacerbate the situation. While the Smile campaign aims to create a welcoming atmosphere for tourists, it fails to address the deeper issues affecting residents' happiness. The government needs to focus on more substantial measures, such as improving childcare accessibility and tackling economic challenges, to genuinely enhance the well-being of its citizens. South China Morning Post. Citigroup Incorporated, DBS Group Holdings Limited, and other banks embroiled in Singapore's largest money laundering scandal are intensifying their scrutiny of affluent clients to prevent illicit fund flows. Private bankers are undergoing additional training to identify criminal tactics used to obscure backgrounds and fund sources. This proactive approach aims to close loopholes that allowed a Chinese criminal group to launder over 3 billion Singapore dollars through at least 16 financial institutions in Singapore. The scandal has marred Singapore's reputation and highlighted deficiencies in client screening by local and foreign banks. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has conducted on-site inspections and is expected to impose fines and other punitive measures on banks heavily involved with the criminals. The banks are also tightening their vetting processes and enhancing their anti-money laundering controls. The assets seized include cash, gold bars, jewelry, cars, and properties. All 10 accused have pleaded guilty, with 9 sentenced to prison, and another 17 remain under investigation. The banks involved provided various financial services, including loans and investments, to the criminals, who used forged documents and complex schemes to launder money. South China Morning Post. The waiver of a residential surcharge by Cainiao, Alibaba Group's logistics arm, is anticipated to enhance Hong Kong's supply chain management and global e-commerce by facilitating easier cross-border product movement for mainland Chinese companies. Willie Lin Sun Mo, chairman of the Hong Kong Shippers Council, described the move as radical, noting it aligns with Cainiao's strategy to promote Hong Kong as an e-commerce hub. The waiver follows the launch of Cainiao's vast warehouse at Hong Kong's airport, equipped with advanced digital technology. Business tycoon Victor Fung Kwok King proposed to Chinese President Xi Jinping that Hong Kong could evolve into a supply chain center for export-focused businesses. However, Hong Kong faces a significant barrier, a lack of talent skilled in global sourcing and trading compliance, exacerbated by geopolitical tensions and the relocation of manufacturing operations to Southeast Asia. Economists believed Cainiao's surcharge waiver could boost cross-border and digital trade, positioning Hong Kong as a multinational supply chain management center. The city's status as a global city could also make it a testing ground for mainland logistics firms aiming to expand overseas. BBC. During the anti-lockdown protests across China in November 2022, a mysterious X account fronted by a cartoon cat, managed by art student Li Ying from Italy, provided real-time updates on the protests, police movements, and arrests, which were not covered by China's state media. Li's activism began accidentally, driven by the Chinese government's suppression of free speech and media. Initially posting love stories on Weibo, he shifted to discussing pandemic-related stories, resulting in repeated account bans. Moving to X, his following exploded during the white paper protests against China's zero-COVID measures. His account became a crucial source of protest information, attracting threats and harassment from Chinese authorities, who also targeted his family and followers. Li alleges coordinated intimidation by Beijing, including attempts to track him and harass his contacts. Despite the personal cost, including frequent relocations and financial instability, Li continues his mission, believing his work exposes the Chinese government's repression. He plans to expand his operations, possibly recruiting others or posting in English to broaden his impact. South China Morning Post. Audrey L. Chan, the new chairman of Hang Lung Properties, views the turbulent property market in mainland China and Hong Kong as a golden opportunity for growth. Despite the challenges, Chan remains optimistic about the long-term potential of the Chinese economy, committing to continued investments of 5 billion Hong Kong dollars annually. The company is focusing on expanding its flagship mall, Plaza 66 in Shanghai, to cater to the luxury goods market. Chan emphasizes the importance of being conservative in new investments to manage risks while leveraging their deep understanding of the Chinese market. Hang Lung's mainland China business, which accounts for 68% of its rental income, continues to thrive, with significant investments in high-end retail and commercial real estate. In contrast, Chan expressed disappointment in Hong Kong's slow economic recovery but sees potential in lower retail rents to spur creativity and business risks. The company remains cautious about the mid-range housing market in Hong Kong but is optimistic about high-end properties due to government initiatives and interest from mainland Chinese investors. South China Morning Post. South China Morning Post. The Dragon Boat Festival in Hong Kong, celebrated on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month, draws large crowds to watch exhilarating dragon boat races. However, the artistry and craftsmanship behind the dragon boats are often overlooked. Traditionally made from teak and camphor wood, these boats require meticulous construction to ensure their agility and speed. Hong Kong's once thriving dragon boat building industry has dwindled, with many shipyards relocating to mainland China. Despite the decline, efforts to preserve the tradition continue, with Guangdong hosting numerous dragon boat-themed activities. Dongguan, known as the birthplace of the dragon boat, boasts hundreds of boatyards, unlike Hong Kong, where the craft is fading. The Stanley International Dragon Boat Championships remain popular, but the shift of boat building away from the city raises concerns about the preservation of this cultural heritage. While modern adaptations of traditional Chinese arts exist, the future of dragon boat building in Hong Kong remains uncertain, highlighting the need for innovative approaches to cultural preservation. South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong's Olympic swimmer Siobhan Haughey is gearing up for the Paris Olympics with a focus on refining her performance. Despite her success at the Mare Nostrum Swim Tour, where she won multiple events and set a meet record, Haughey insists there are areas she needs to improve. Her primary goal is to surpass the silver medal she won in the 100 and 200 meters freestyle at the Tokyo Olympics. Haughey has been consistently clocking under 1:55 in the 200-meter freestyle this season, a feat matched only by Molly O'Callaghan and Summer McIntosh, her main competitors for gold in Paris. In the 100m, she frequently swims sub-53 seconds and holds the third fastest time ever at 52.02 seconds. Haughey emphasizes focusing on race execution rather than times to keep pressure at bay, especially with the Olympics looming. South China Morning Post also highlights Manulife's strategic expansion in Macau with a new office to tap into the Greater Bay Area opportunities. The Canadian insurer has leased significant office space in the Yoho Treasure Island complex, aiming to consolidate its smaller offices and accommodate around 1,000 agents and employees. This move is part of a broader trend among financial firms to expand in Macau, driven by the government's 1+4 development strategy to diversify the economy beyond gaming. Despite a slight decline in insurance sales last year, Manulife remains optimistic about long-term growth due to the low insurance penetration rate in Macau and the Greater Bay Area. The company is betting on the region's aging population and growing middle class to drive demand for insurance and wealth management services. In an opinion piece, the South China Morning Post discusses the slow return of Western tourists to Hong Kong post-pandemic. While mainland Chinese tourism is rebounding, Western visitor numbers remain at about half of pre-pandemic levels. Factors such as stringent quarantine measures, negative media coverage, and concerns about the national security law have deterred Western tourists. Travel advisories from the US, Canada, and the UK have further fueled these concerns. Despite these challenges, Hong Kong remains a vibrant and safe destination with a rich cultural scene and efficient public transport. The article encourages Western tourists to visit and experience the city firsthand, noting that visitor numbers are gradually improving and that Hong Kong continues to offer a unique blend of urban and natural attractions. South China Morning Post. Fiji, with its pristine white sand beaches and crystal-clear waters, is a tropical haven composed of over 330 islands formed by ancient volcanic activity. The archipelago's charm lies not only in its natural beauty but also in the warmth and hospitality of its people. Upon arrival at Nadi International Airport, visitors are greeted with the cheerful Beulah and traditional welcome songs, setting the tone for a friendly stay. While many first-time tourists flock to smaller islands for a scenic retreat, Fiji offers a plethora of activities ranging from island hopping and mountain hiking to luxurious resort stays. The Mamanuca and Yasawa Islands are particularly famous for their vibrant coral reefs and marine life, making them ideal for novice scuba divers. Fiji's cuisine features unique dishes like kokoda, a raw fish dish cured in lime juice and coconut milk, and the traditional lovo, an underground oven used for slow-cooking marinated meats. The ubiquitous kava, a mildly sedative national drink, is an integral part of Fijian ceremonies. Despite its allure, Fiji faces challenges such as difficult accessibility for tourists from regions other than Australia and New Zealand, racial tensions, and the devastating impacts of climate change, exemplified by the catastrophic cyclone Winston in 2016. The Sydney Morning Herald. The Australian Olympic swimming trials are a rigorous and unforgiving process, designed to ensure only the best make it to the international stage. Shayna Jack, despite clocking an impressive 52.64 seconds in the 100-meter freestyle at the Australian trials, missed out on the World Championships because she placed third behind Molly O'Callaghan and Emma McKeon. Her time, however, was faster than the bronze-winning time at the World Championships, highlighting the intense competition within Australia. The trials are set up to replicate the pressure of major meets, demanding swimmers to perform their best at a specific moment. This system, although brutal, prepares athletes to be almost invincible at the Olympics. The Australian swimming team, known as the Dolphins, is expected to challenge their American rivals for the top spot on the medal table for the first time in 68 years. The change in holding trials closer to major competitions, initiated by former national coach Jaco Verhaeren, has significantly improved the team's performance, as seen in their success in Tokyo 2020 and the World Championships in Fukuoka. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong distance runner Christy Yu Kitching faced a financial setback due to an administrative error that resulted in her losing her elite athlete funding status for nearly 2 months. After achieving the necessary results at the Standard Chartered Hong Kong Marathon in January, Yu expected her contract renewal process to be automatic. However, due to a delay in paperwork submission by the Hong Kong, China Association of Athletics Affiliates, HKAA, Yu's contract expired on March 31. This lapse left her responsible for medical expenses incurred during the contract gap, including a costly MRI scan and subsequent treatments. Despite her efforts to expedite the renewal process, Yu was unable to have her medical bills reimbursed for the period between April 1 and May 20. The HKAA has declined to comment on the delay, and HKSI has not addressed the reimbursement issue. Yu's case highlights the bureaucratic challenges athletes face and the financial burdens that can arise from administrative oversights. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.